Alright, well, we're back for another video. More interior upgrades. Well, not really an upgrade. Talking dash cams. There's 8 million of them on the market. No idea really what to buy. I did have a Vifo, and that's now out of date, and their prices have shot up through the roof. So, looking around, I've gone with something super cheap, middle of the range. If I do have an issue, I can take it back. A Nanocam Plus. It's got a 4K front and a 1080 rear one, so at least I'm covered from both angles if we do have any sort of incident from front or rear. Also had to buy a separate hardwire kit again, so I think the hardwire kit was 49 bucks and the cameras were 220 down to 180 on special at the moment. So yeah, we'll pretty straightforward to do the old dash cam. The only fiddly bit is when you do wiring into your hardwire kit. If you want to use some of the fuses that tap into your MIDI box or run them back to dedicated power sources and so on. So yeah, I'm not sure at the moment until I open that up what it looks like, but I guess one of the things that you need to have a look at with dash cams is making sure they've got a super capacitor as opposed to a lithium battery. They seem to work a bit better apparently in our environments here in Australia, so less overheating issues and everything else. So yeah, anyway, this is what we've got. Open her up. And we'll have a look. So here's, this one is the camera. I was hoping it might come with an interior trim tool as well, but yeah, we'll see when we get to the unboxing piece. Alright, that's it. Permanently plugged into power to operate. Please format your micro SD. Follow the manual for any other instructions. So this camera, I assume, should be adjustable. Yep. So this is all adjustable depending on where you mount it. The angle of your windscreen can go up, can go down. SD card slot. It's got the 3M Type C charger. And if you did want to run an AV, so a separate mic, you could do that if you wanted to. Interesting. So anyway, this particular model is the NCP DVR302. Now I couldn't find much online from, I guess, real world reviews versus marketed, I guess, videos you could say. So I did see a couple on Dashcams Australia with the Nanocam Plus, and the quality looked alright, so sort of why I went with this particular middle of the road one. Anyway, well, doesn't look like there's anything else in that box. We'll have a look at what the other camera looks like from a rear point of view. Now again, this said it was only a 1080. Alright, so we've opened up the packet and we've got the little rear 1080p one. Powered. Interesting. Looks like it needs to run back to the unit, the main unit, which I wasn't aware of. I thought it had its own power supply. So yeah, we'll have to have a bit more of a look into what that looks like. AV, yeah. Interesting. The external plugs into the AV port, which we were talking about earlier. Now, where's the hardwire kit, mate?
Who do we know? Oh, what's the hardwire kit?
Hardwire kit. Let's see what it comes with. I hope it comes with everything and you don't need to go buy, oh my goodness, tap link fuses and everything else. Hang on.
Oh, it came with that thing.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Alright, USB to micro USB adapter. Geez, you don't see those too often anymore.
I've never seen that.
No, you wouldn't before your time. Obviously the power adapter, interesting cable, Oh, yes. We do have the tap link fuses. I was hoping I didn't have to go and buy them. Sweet. So there we go. We've got a whole bunch of different tap fuses. Big ones, little ones, depending on what sort of car you run. So if you're using the regular blade fuses or the micro blades, minis. So we are set. Alright, let's get stuck into installing this thing. Alright guys, we're back. It's a different day. The first part of the video was, 45 degrees and probably nearly 60 in the car, so gave up. But anyway, we're back in here this morning. So the cables I've rerouted through up under the dash, along the windscreen, down, and then now getting ready for the fuse tap installs. Now, so far the kit is really good. It comes with the fuse taps. They're even pre-wired so that you know where to stick the fuse from the car box. So you'll see here it's got the fuse already on the outside or closest to the wire. That's the orientation it needs to be. Then you put the fuse from your fuse box in this other side closest to the blades. So for my car, it's using these micro or mini fuses. I can't remember. But the yellow one, which is a little bit counterintuitive, needs to go to constant power, and the red one that comes in the kit needs to go to your accessories. And it does come with, the kit does come with a bunch of different fuse taps depending on what sort of car that you've got. So I've also done a test and worked out which ones on the Nissan here have constant and accessories power, so I'm all good to go. Now let's have a look. So if you've got a Nissan Patrol, this has constant, this 20 amp fuse down the bottom here, and for accessories, this other 21. So nice and easy. I'm going to just tap into them, and then I'll also probably just tap into here for an earth when I'll confirm that one works. So the kit, as you can probably see here, it comes with red, yellow and black for earth. Nice and easy. Also does have it's got a 4-way adjustable low battery. So it says here, and you probably won't be able to read it, 11.8, 12, 12.2 and 12.4. So I've just got this set to 12 at the moment, but depending on how it goes, I will adjust it. Also has on the box, accessories, ground and power in the different color schemes. So nice and easy to see. It's gone together pretty straightforward so far. All right, let's touch base a bit later. All right, we've got our 2 wires fuse taps ready to go with the 20 amp fuses, red and yellow. I've already wired up the earth circuit. It's connected, not sure if you can see, just straight there. I've tested that, 12 volts flows through that fine. So it's going to go in there for the yellow, which is constant power, and accessories up into that one there. It's all ready to go. As you can see, just need to now clip in these bad boys, and then we can test it. Alright, so the cables are wired down below. I've still got to just tidy them up and tuck them out of the way and zip tie them up. But we've got the Nanocam Plus here ready to go. Let's give it a whirl. Alright, plugs in. Hey, we've got power lights, so we've done something right. Alright. Happy days. Now let's get it mounted. Alright, now apologies guys, I probably should have done this earlier, but the menu system is really straightforward. There's not a lot to it. You can change your resolution. You've got high, 4K or 2K. You've got your loop recording. Again, you can change that to a couple of different minutes if you want to, and you just use the buttons underneath to go through what you want to do. Press the button on the right to go into it. I've just got it set to loop recording. Go back out. Actually, I'll go back up to the 4K for you. 4K or 2K. Just once again said 4K. Do you want your audio recording on? Yes, no. What else we got there? G sensor, I've got it set to medium. It's recording all the time. Parking monitor, again, if you want that on or off. Your date and time stamps, GPS stamp, license plate. I don't know exactly what that is. I haven't got it turned on. And the screensaver so that it doesn't run too hot with the screen on all the time. I've got that set to 10 with the beep sound, so I know at least it turns on when I start the car. Speaker low, power, date and time, your GPS info, and formatting your SD card, which you need to do when you put it in straight away, and then you can go back to your factory defaults. And that's pretty much it. It is fairly straightforward from a setup and configuration point of view. And then if you do want to adjust the camera up a fraction, I'll just turn that screen on a bit more. There we go. Yep, done now. I have had this on for a little bit during the week, just running it from the US cigarette plug. And the 3M stuff that it come with wasn't that great, so I'm hoping this new stuff is a bit better. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so far, not too bad for I guess for the money with what it's got. Now, what we'll do is we'll go back, we'll jump inside. I've got some recording and some footage show you the difference with the 4K and the rear camera as well. Now, I haven't got the rear camera plugged in at the moment, just unplugged it. I've got to reroute all the cables. I won't bore you to death with that. It's pretty straightforward though. And yeah, let's jump inside. Alright, here we are with some of the front-on footage first. So as you can see, from what I can tell looking at the footage, it's reasonably clear once you get to about a car length in front. Anything outside of that, when you're zooming around, it looks like it's blurry. Now it just could be because of the settings and so on, but this has all been recorded in 4K high. As you can see on the left, the Beamer, the Hyundai and the Nissan Navara, all readable, and probably a good car length in front. So don't really see any issues. From the rear, and a car coming up, probably a car length behind, and you zoom in, you can see that number plate pretty straightforward, no real issues. This is a 1080p camera in the rear, so you know, quality wise, again, it's going to definitely be less than the 4K front. Are they true 4K? I don't know. I'd probably say no, but the quality, you can read number plates, it is recording, it is picking up motion, so I haven't really got much else to say except it seems to be adequate for what you need a dash cam for. I've nearly forgotten to put in some nighttime footage and it is not impressive. So yeah, it'll record, it'll tell you what sort of car it is, but trying to pick up a number plate appears to be nearly impossible from what I've been able to tell driving around and testing it out. All right, so what are my final thoughts? I think for the price point and the quality, it's pretty hard to beat. Is it really true 4K, crystal clear? No, but you can read the number plates, front and rear, for $280 with the hardwire kit. I don't think there'd be much else on the market that would fit into that scenario. So yeah, now I guess time will tell, but things that I did like about hardwire kit, came with great instructions. So if you've never done that before, really easy to see and follow. There was multiple fuse taps that came within the kit, so depending on what sort of car that you've got, it covered every single scenario. The fuses were in them ready to go, so you didn't need to muck around with that. You just pull the fuse out of your fuse block, put it in, and then clip it in into that hole. Job done, nice and simple. Build quality, look, time will tell. They're a fairly light device anyway, and I've been having this running around just through the cigarette lighter for, I don't know, probably nearly a month now, and so far it's been working flawlessly. I haven't seen any issues. The 3M tape that glues to your windscreen that it came with, it did fall off, or it started to peel off. Now, I don't know if that was something wrong with the windscreen, as in it wasn't cleaned properly, or if it was just poor quality. So it did have 3M on the replacement one, replacement sticker. So I've pulled that off and put that on. So time will tell. It was also the cables were pulling straight down on it. So now that they're routed in through the roof and clipped in, I'm hoping that it shouldn't try and twist it off the windscreen. So yeah, that's my review of the camera. Let me know if you've had any other issues with it, or if you think it's alright bit of gear if you've got one. So yeah, thanks again for watching Aussie Dad Life. Catch you on the next video.